Do you remember the Disney online multiplayer game Toontown?
Toontown, yes, I do.
Yeah, it had a name generator at the beginning.
Oh.
And my character was Professor Heflmyer.
Whoa.
And yeah. And Heflmyer's just been something I've carried with me through all of like video gaming history. And it's just kind of been my online persona ever since then. And I like it. I like the name. It sounds fun.
Beautiful story. Oh my God, I love that.
Toontown is a very odd game and like a very interesting memory nostalgia trip.
I think that's actually how Post Malone got his name, from the Toontown name generator.
me and Posty are on the same wavelength. Well, how you doing, Slippy, aka Christian?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Always a pleasure to see your face.
Likewise.
You've been working like a dog. Wait, what?
Sorry. I was gonna be like, should I call you Ben?
Or should I call me Ben?
Okay.
Yeah, call me either. Yeah.
I've got a question. I got questions about that, but I'll let you ask your question first.
Well, all right. I just want, for people who don't know, you've been working full-time editing, right?
Yeah. It's been going crazy.
And they're working you to the bone, right?
Yeah. I mean, when you get into like a freelance job like this, you kind of like let them know how hard they can work you. And I pretty much was just like, yeah, freaking work me to the bone, end my life out here.
I'll make it happen.
Yeah. And now I'm slowly like getting to a point where I'm like, okay, I don't want to be working so hard that I'm not even touching my own content. And so 6 months since my last upload, that's the longest I've gone without uploading. So that's driving me a little bit nuts, but I'm slowly figuring it out more and like opening up time. But yeah, so things are doing a little bit better. I was with just one guy doing 2 videos for him a week, and that was like a lot because the level of edits he wants.
2 weeks already a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, we wouldn't actually, we rarely actually hit that deadline because, we're trying to keep the quality high. And so he was always like, if we got to push it back, only 1 video, that's fine. But always aiming for 2 still meant that I was nonstop working, And so now I've moved down to 1 a week with him. And I've actually got hired on by another client who's, he just wants 2 videos from me a month. So rather than making 8 videos a month, I'm only doing 6. And also, the work that I'm doing for this other guy, he doesn't want me to do the cutting. He doesn't want me to work it from the ground up. He's got a guy for cutting, so I'm just doing the fancy, fun edits. So it's kind of like I'm doing half a video, So
is it nice to just get the prepped, like essentially like meal prepped, like, and then you just
honestly
whip together the dish? Like,
it's so nice, yeah, because that's the fun part to me, at least. The other guy who cuts it up, his name is Brooks, and he says that he has the most fun cutting up stuff and pacing it out. And I mean, I have the most fun making it look fancy, so yeah, I guess it is fun having it like that. But yeah, I'm slowly but surely freeing up time. Can't wait to get back to my own content.
I know you're itching too, but do you feel like this has been a good, like, a crucible, like a learning experience for you? You've like gotten to learn new techniques for work and stuff like that?
Dude, that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to return to my own work. Like, I'm gonna be faster, my video quality is gonna be higher, my production value is gonna be higher, my audio, like, I didn't even realize how big a deal like audio was for me, because I never hear people complain about it. But working on like professional YouTubers stuff and then going back to mine and hearing it, I'm like, oh my God, I sound like garbage. So I'm going to be fixing stuff on the audio front, the visual front. I'm so excited. Yeah.
I'm curious though, like with this.
Yeah.
You've been working to the bone, right? You're slaving away for these guys. They have no conscience. But I know that they're not really, but
they're kind people.
Have you been able to carve out time for yourself?
Slowly but surely. It's like I'm on a good week, I am working from noon to midnight, but I'll have like that'll have like breaks within it. So I start the editing at work at noon, and then I'll take a few breaks throughout the day just to like use the bathroom or maybe get a workout in or see my girlfriend. I usually have at least 3 hours to see my girlfriend, but outside of that, it's just small breaks. And anything before noon, I can use to work on my own stuff, and everything after midnight, I can use to work on my own stuff. Which lately, after midnight, has just been spent playing Resident Evil or Silent Hill, admittedly. And I've been waking up too late to get any personal work done. Today I woke up at 11:30. I was so bummed. So
you're working 9 hours.
Yeah, pretty much 9 hours. And I mean, like, if you take out an hour for the workout and like some of the breaks and stuff, it's like it would come out to like 7.5. Yeah.
Okay.
7.5 hours of deliberate work. Like,
yeah.
And if it's not deliberate, I'm behind. Like, I have to be super focused.
Right, and you don't want to be behind. That's...
Yeah. And of course I have the opportunity to, like, if I am really behind, I'm not playing games after midnight, I'm going to continue to work, or I'm not going to wake up and work on my own stuff. I'm going to wake up and get right to work. So, figuring it out. But good weeks would allow me to at least work on my own stuff for like 3 hours a day.
Well, have you ever worked with anybody in like this sort of creative capacity before, like this closely?
No, I haven't. I'm actually, every job I've had, like I haven't worked freelance stuff, first of all, but like every traditional job I've had has been me being very independent. I want to go in the back and do my own part of my job, like this is my section of the job, I get my stuff done, we're all happy. Like, I do my part of the work, and it doesn't get in the way of the next person who has to do their work. Like, I get my stuff done, and I don't even want to, like, talk to customers because I've done, like, mostly customer service stuff. I just work on my own, get my stuff done, and get out. But this has to be, like, I'm getting used to the flow of, like, having to tell people where I'm at in the process. Like, hey, it's going to be done by this time. And even then, I have a big problem with, like, over-promising and under-delivering because I, like... For some reason, I'm just so confident I can get it done fast, but then forget that I need to breathe and forget that I need to drink water and do other human things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
do you have water with you right now?
I do. I got some before we started. Yes. Hey, you got big bottle too.
Yeah, you should drink some right now. See, unlike the horrific people who are you're editing for, will let you drink water.
Those absolute devils. Yeah, I know. How about you?
What have I been doing?
Yeah, I want to hear about you before I move on with me.
I've been so I still work a full-time job.
Okay.
And then I've been doing YouTube on the side, and I'm looking for a place to move. Yeah, so
moving out of your moving
well, we'll be moving out of this place, and then we'll be moving to a place probably closer to the city.
Okay, nice.
We want to become city slickers, so we're gonna try and get ourselves a little bit closer to downtown. But so we're looking at places and applying, and of course, renting's a great time. So I wish I had a more regimented schedule when it came to like video making. Yeah. But it's kind of like when I got time, I'm cramming something in. And
if you were to take a guess, like how much time do you think you have on an average day to work on your own stuff?
I feel like there's days will go by where I do nothing, and then there's days where I binge stuff.
Yeah,
so like
I totally
maybe it could average out to like 2 hours a day. But it's just because there's a specific day where I'm like, all right, I'm here for 10 to 12 hours at my computer, recording and editing. And there's a lot of nights where it's like, it's 10 p.m., we're going to bed. And I'm like, I'll edit for an hour. 2 a.m. comes around. And I'm like, no, just this one last. I just thought of a banger edit. It's going to be awesome. And, so I wish there was...
Oh, sorry to cut you off. I was going to say, do you feel like nighttime is your productive hours? Do you have like a certain section of the day where you work best?
Nighttime is extremely productive, but I think when it comes to editing, just like silence and lack of input is just what concentrates me. I think I can't do it early in the morning. I can't work early in the morning. That's my only thing. Is like,
oh man,
I have to at least wake up first, have coffee and stuff like that. But after that, God, now I'm thinking there's so many nights that I've stayed up late editing that maybe that is where I thrive. But
I've heard that's like a thing. Is you should protect your productive hours with your life. Figure out what they are, and then sanction those off. Make sure you have that time to work, and just maximize productivity. You know, mine is definitely in the morning.
Really, when you wake up.
Yeah, right when I wake up. I guess it's not right when I wake up because I do like to have my coffee first, which is why things have been sucking lately. Because I'll wake up at 11:30. I'm like, all I have enough time to do: brush my teeth, make some food, have some coffee, and then start work. You know.
Right. I don't have any spare mental time.
Yeah. And so just like waking up, my prime. I've found out that my prime working hours are from 9 a.m. to 3 or 4 p.m. From that time, I can just be nonstop going. And then the moment I have to, break to get a workout in, that's when it's okay, I'm kind of in relax mode for the rest of the day. Then,
you know what? I think I could agree with that. Because on days that I'm off and I'm just I'm going to work, I wake up, I'll have a little breakfast, I'll sit for just a little bit, and then I'm at work from 9 to 10 to 4 or 5,
Okay.
And then I'm done. And then I'm time to eat, time to relax.
Yeah, and then you hit your own stuff about 9 p.m. Is that what it is for you, do you think?
That's right now, that's about what it's been. Because my actual work, I go in, I'm there at 8, and then I'm there till 5. Every now and then, because I happen to work where I live, so I'll go home on lunch, and every now and then I'll just try and cram something out during lunch break. But otherwise, I'll get home around 5. I'll eat, I'll relax for a while, and then it'd be 8 to whenever I stop. I try not to abuse my sleep schedule like that because it really hurts me, but sometimes I can't stop doing it. I really am. I'm every single time I finish doing something, I'm all right, time to step away, and then I start doing the next thing.
You're like I just want to get started on the next process. At least for me, I'm I want to get started on the next process so that when I come back, I don't have to worry about what I'm doing next. I can just jump right back into it. But then I don't want to stop this process in the middle of the process, so I'm going to go until it's finished. And it's I'll start the next one.
I'll go till I hit this point on the timeline, and then I'll need to gather assets for that, and then I'll hit that point. I'm well, why don't I just gather assets for that so that when I come back, I can just start working, and I'll have all the assets. And I'm well, now that I have them, why don't I just start filling them in?
Exactly. Yeah, now that I've got it.
I was I'll look at it like it's a storyboard, and then I'm cool, now I'll add the details to it. It's 3 a.m., go to bed.
I know. That's what I hear is when it comes to I consider YouTube an art, so I'm gonna say that we're artists.
Absolutely.
It's for
film
artists.
Is an art form, right?
Exactly. Yeah. When it artists, the hardest thing is always starting, but even harder is stopping. So at least for me,
when you're on that roll and things are going well, especially, it's just I don't want to. I'm feeling so filled with this working well. I want to keep this feeling going. And it's,
honestly, people who, for anyone out there, people who are struggling to work on their personal projects, just set a 5-minute timer. Just be all right, I'm going to do deliberate work for 5 minutes. And if I really want to stop after that, I can. You're going to find that most times you don't want to.
No, that 5-minute timer is going to go along. You're what? Are you kidding me? I gotta no. And then you're well, maybe I'll set a 30-minute timer, and then that 30-minute timer will usually end. And you're but no, I've got more work that I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I can't wait to start my own stuff again. I'm so excited.
You mentioned at the beginning you had a question about Ben Heflmyer.
Oh, I don't remember if I've asked you this before, but I want to know the origin. What is the folklore of Heflmyer, the name? Where did that come from?
Do you remember the Disney online multiplayer game Toontown?
Toontown, yes, I do.
Yeah, it had a name generator at the beginning.
Oh.
And my character was Professor Heflmyer.
Whoa.
And yeah. And Heflmyer's just been something I've carried with me through all of like video gaming history. And it's just kind of been my online persona ever since then. And I like it. I like the name. It sounds fun.
A beautiful story. Oh my God, I love that.
Toontown is a very odd game and like a very interesting memory nostalgia trip.
I think that's actually how Post Malone got his name, from the Toontown name generator. me and Posty
we're on the same wavelength.
No, I think it was just like a generic rap name generator or something like that. I know it was a name generator though, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm not hyper clever for having Heflmyer, but it is like I don't know. I feel like your online identity is a facet of yourself, and so Heflmyer has always been a facet of the way I've interacted online, and so it's just gonna continue to be like.
I think that those kind of names that just like that didn't require work and like they just kind of they came to you in some form, whether it's a name generator or just your brain spitting them out to you, and they just feel right. Like those are the best kind of names. Because the last name that I had, the Simeon.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about this actually.
Yeah, so that was specifically okay. So the thought process was my very first name was Simina, was SSSCIMINA, and it was literally just Animix backwards, like animations in comics.
Okay.
And so Animix backwards, Simina, I'm like, oh, and my mascot should be like a reptile gorilla thing. I don't know why, but it just like was calling me. And so I was like, yeah, so I'll put 2 more S's so it sounds like you hiss when you say the name. And I was like, all right, Simina's not really rolling off the tongue. Let's change it to Simeon, because it's kind of like you're hissing while you say the name of an ape.
Absolutely.
So it's like a reptile gorilla. And like I was just trying to like put all this thought into it, and then one day I was like just thinking about it like just a different name, and I was like, Slippy sounds kind of cool. Doesn't have any meaning. I just like how Slippy sounds.
I just like Slippy.
Yeah, and I was like put the boy after because I feel like it should have just like one more syllable. So Slippy Boy, bada bing, bada boom. I guess the little bit of thought that was there was that with the pixel aesthetic, I wanted to go for a Game Boy look. So Slippy Boy, that's all the thought that was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if you thought about Slippy Man for a second.
No, it was all that was the only motive I have was Slippy sounds cool, and I want to have a Game Boy aesthetic. So Slippy Boy, that's it.
I'm curious. Some people like for their like characters have like a lore that they've built out in their head. For
That's
you,
true.
is there like a canon for Slippy, or is it just like he's just in games talking to you, like, or is it just an animated version of yourself? Like
there is going to be there's gonna be a freaking SCU, the Slippy Cinematic Universe. I tell you what, fucking, because like every time I think of a video idea, like I want it to be like my whole life. I've always liked the idea of like taking not being serious very seriously. And so like just my whole goofy thing, like there's no like actual continuity to it, but I still want to create a universe for some reason. Like I still want to have my guy like jumping through portals and shit like that. And like right now, the next video that you're gonna see, which is probably gonna be end of this year, beginning of the next, will have me in my new room. I've made a room like in Blender in like a pixel aesthetic, and so like the lore behind that is like there was just a freaking broken piece of a house flying through space, and my guy decided to land on it and make it his room for whatever reason. And there's like these portals. I don't know if you've seen my old banner, but it used to have like my guy jumping through portals. The kind of idea was that every time he jumped into a portal, that was gonna be a different style of video I was making. And so like, you know, blue was gonna be game reviews, freaking purple was gonna be sketches, and orange was gonna be video essays, and like all this different stuff that I put all this thought into, which like I'm getting to a point now that I kind of want to trash because it's too convoluted. I just like the idea of my guy being a weird little pixel dude who jumps through different universes via portals that he has no control of. The only portal he has control of is the one that's in his closet in the house he found. Outside of that, he's got no control. And
just gets dumped in a random place.
Yeah. That's why, like, I don't know if I've even displayed this yet, but as I imagine it in my brain, he will be getting spit into different universes and have to figure out where the hell he is. And so, but like, it's usually going to be kind of quick and snappy. Like, I've got a Silent Hill idea where he shoots into the middle of Silent Hill, and it's like a foggy area. And he's like looking around. He's like, "Oh, please don't tell me why I am where I think I am." And then he sees the radio from Silent Hill playing the static sound. And he's like, "Oh, fuck!" And hard cut. And that's where. And then that's kind of hinting to the next video being a Silent Hill video. So stuff like that. That's like the lore. It's just random pixel dude jumps through portals. That's what I got.
I'm excited for 5 years down the line when there's a tome published of.
Yeah. I can't wait, dude.
I am curious about your experience. You were using Toon Boom for a while, right? Is that correct?
Open Tunes. The
Open
other
Tunes.
Yeah.
Sorry, other Toon one.
Yeah.
But you're using Blender now, right? Or are you hoping to use a combination of the two? Or what are you doing right now?
So I, like, for a while was shitting on Open Tunes because I didn't, like, have it fully optimized. First of all, my PC isn't the best. And so, like, it was just constantly crashing and stuff. But once I upgraded my PC and found some things that I could alter in OpenTunes and stuff like that to make it fit my PC better, I stopped having the crashing problems. And a lot of the other issues are still there, but they're issues you're going to find in other animation software anyways, like fill buckets not working exactly the way you want them to and stuff. Just weird little nitpicks, you know? And so I was going to give up on that. But I couldn't really find another good pixel software. Even like Sprite is good, but it's not for like long form content, you know? And so fixing OpenTunes to just work the way I want it to has been enough. And I really like the idea of having 3D environments with a 2D character. So I'm just going to animate my guy over a green screen and then import the assets to Blender and, you know, have him moving around the 3D environments in there.
Right. So, kind of comp him in.
Yeah. And then also from there, I'm going to make it look convincing with the video editing by, you know, adjusting the atmospheric lighting on my guy so it looks like he's actually in that area, or cropping out certain things. It's going to be a combination of OpenTunes, Blender, and Premiere to make it look like he's actually in that world. Whatever the world is how it's going to work. So... And yeah, Blender has been such a pain in the ass. Every time I pick it up, like, I can't go 4 seconds without Googling something. Like, have you ever used a program like Blender before?
I've never, no. I've worked with very rudimentary, like, 3D modeling tools, and even the very basic ones are out of my depth. For me too. Perplexing. Yeah,
like I said, Google every 4 seconds, but kind of how you figure stuff out. Don't need to pay for a class that way, I guess. So
I mean, there's so many classes online that you can learn it. You just need the time and the patience. Yeah,
and maybe a little bit of money. But if you want, like, you know, specifically tailored tutoring sessions, but otherwise, I mean, YouTube's right there, Google's right there. Right. So time and patience.
I was thinking, you mentioned the green screen with your guy, and your initial inspiration for making videos, or one of them, was Nakey Jakey and his green screen, putting himself in places. Yeah. Have you ever thought about, like, what if I stopped animating entirely and I just grabbed myself a green screen? Like, was that ever a thought in your brain? Or because I know you kind of like stumbled into the animation because you could do that. You're like, oh, well, this is the easiest way to do this without buying all that equipment. Have you ever thought, as you've been like, starting to work full time, you're like, what if, or now is it just like, I love the animation?
I have become in love with animation because when I first started, I didn't really have a love for it. Like, I wanted to do it because of the animation I'd consumed throughout my life, but I hadn't like ever like, when you actually start animating and you realize how rigorous the process can be, like I really just wasn't into it and it required more patience than I had. But yeah, in recent times, I've been really falling in love with animation. It's almost like at first I was forcing myself to, so I wouldn't hate animating, but like it got to a point where I'm genuinely excited about it now. Like I see like beautiful animation on Twitter and stuff, and just like certain YouTubers who post animation compilations and stuff like that, and it's like all got my brain super excited about like the confines of reality. If you're gonna be a real person and you want to make it look like you're in a burning building, it's gonna be like, while animation is a hard process, it's easier to make things look more convincing,
Right.
Because if I'm a real person and I'm in a burning building, and I then have to convince them, with lighting, because you recognize a human face super easily,
Right.
Like
it's like you need practical to match the VFX. And...
Yeah, exactly. And with animation, there is no barrier of like, is this person actually in a burning building? If I want Slippy in a burning building, he's gonna be burnt. He's gonna be in a burning building.
You bet your damn ass I'll burn him alive.
Yeah, exactly. And it's as simple as, drawing the backgrounds and playing with lighting and animating the flames and stuff like that. I guess it's about control, like rather than, because like I said, animation isn't easy, but just having the control, like nothing is out of the realm of at least my capabilities, So no, I guess to answer the question, no, I haven't thought about it because I'm just like I don't want to be limited to the confines of, being a real person. Like I like being, especially since my type of humor I feel like is very slapsticky. Like I want to get smashed by an anvil and not have to pay the medical
not have to actually get smashed by the anvil.
Exactly. Yeah.
You think Slippy will ever meet Christian?
I've thought about doing that, and like I don't even know where I draw the line, because like at some points I'm referring to us in the, as separate people, as I just did, and other times I'm just like, yeah, that's me. Like, so I don't know, like I guess it would, if it ever called for, like, if I ever needed to do like a joke that required the two of us or something, then yeah. But outside of that, we are one and the same, but also two separate people at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah. Have you ever wanted to have an animated character? Have you ever wanted to animate your icon?
I've thought about it. I've thought about having like even just like intros or something like that. I think I can draw, but I can't. I am not skilled in repeating a line. So when it comes to animating, I'm not gonna make something that looks like harmonious as a series of panels. It's the style's gonna morph, the body's gonna shape. Like I'm not gonna make something that looks good. So not that I haven't thought about like commissioning something like that.
Yeah.
But I think I've been waiting to like grow a little bit more.
Yeah.
And there's also a part of me that's like, if I'm not doing it and I'm commissioning it, then I'm commissioning someone to do an animation of me, which is a little bit big-headed. I know it's for a purpose. Like, I'm not just getting it done so I can watch it, but there is a part of me that's like, really, you're gonna commission someone to draw you in some fancy style, like. There's a part of my brain that says that.
I want to do it. I would like do it for free. It's one of the reasons why like I want to have a video that we can do together, because I want an excuse to animate your guy in a video with me. I think that'd be so cool. Are
you going to be playing like Jack and Daxter sometime soon?
I am literally playing it right now. Like,
Cool.
I beat the first. Oh, go ahead.
I'd love to do a video on Jak and Daxter with you because I love that series. Yeah, huge fan of the Jak and Daxter series.
Dude, yes, I'm right now. I'm cycling between like the 3 PlayStation games that I missed out on, like the PlayStation platforming giants that I missed out on. Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, and Jak and Daxter.
Yeah.
And so I beat the first Sly Cooper, beat the first Ratchet and Clank, and now I'm playing Jak and Daxter. And it's not what I was expecting, and I'm loving it. So
Jak and Daxter is really odd. It's a very different, like, and the first one is very different than the second one, which is very different than the third one. They're odd games. Yeah.
Nice.
The third
I love that series.
Really heavy on vehicles.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. That's like 80% of the gameplay is vehicles.
Well, yeah, one of the things that I've heard about the development that I love about that is that Insomniac and Naughty Dog were like working in the same like proximity of each other. I don't know if it was the same office or what, but Jak and Daxter was being produced, and then this other team came in talking about how they're going to make a big platformer for the PlayStation as well. And so, modern day, you'd expect that to be like, oh, there's going to be some rivalry here. But I hear that Naughty Dog straight up was like, oh, do you want to use our engine? Like, you can build Ratchet and Clank on our engine. And then from there, they like, as they were working on each other's games, as Jak and Daxter was being made and Ratchet and Clank was being made, they were sharing secrets with each other, just like, hey, like, here's a tip to make this work better. Or like, they were just exchanging, to make 2 great games rather than, oh, my game's gonna beat your game. Like, they just wanted to have good games. And so
that's
anytime
interesting. They have some like mechanical similarities to each other.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but like they were such like smooth and tight games for the time. You know what I mean? Like,
and they really do like feel similar. Like, yeah, they're like, they stood out from other games, but they feel like they were made in the same place. And I guess it's because they share the same engine. So
interesting, and the same internal secrets.
Yeah, which I think is so cool. I wish there was more people, more companies like that were just like, yeah, we just want to make great games. It's not about beating you. It's about having the best possible game out there. Like what 343 did with Halo Infinite is driving me insane. Being like, you can't even talk to the guy who made the original Halo theme. You can't even talk to him for your production for the music because we got to beat the original. We got to be better than Bungie at making Halo. Just whatever. Come on.
Just hit him up. Just see if he'll do it.
Yeah, and there's so many little things like that because they have to be better or whatever the hell. I don't know. That stuff drives me nuts. Just give us good games.
Really though, in the name of good art, just do what's best for the art. Like,
yeah. And like, I get the whole competitive nature can be good too, like, because that can be a drive to want to do better and stuff. But like, not because there's a line. Like, you can want to do better than them, but not be so uptight that you're not going to listen to input or share your input. Like, like, I don't know.
It comes to a point where it harms the product. Like, it harms what you want to make as a good thing. You end up doing detriment to it because you're just unwilling to open up or unwilling to work with somebody or.
Yeah, because I bet even Insomniac deep down still wanted to have a better game than Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog vice versa, but not so far that they were going to be like, hey, you can't touch our freaking office, don't touch our shit. Get out of here. Right.
And I'm sure there were times where they were looking at what each other were making and were like, we got to change what we're doing because I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be slightly different. Like,
yeah, exactly. Have you been playing anything lately?
Oh, what have I been playing lately? Hold on, let me think about it. Have I been playing anything?
Are you not playing anything for Spooky Month?
I want to restart Bloodborne because I've started it like 4 times, and I've gotten, the last time I went maybe halfway to a little bit over halfway through, and I just lost all the save data for it. I went to play it again, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, Bloodborne is the best.
I did play Five Nights Freddy's for the first time not too long ago.
Yeah.
It's okay. I jumped. Obviously, I jumped. I, like, yelled and screamed, but, like...
Yeah. Jump scares are cheap, man.
The game isn't, like... I play. Okay, this is what I did play recently. Last month, I played through Resident Evil 4. It's
nice.
The first Resident Evil game that I've ever played through. And I kept going back and forth. The first half of the game, I was like, I really like this. This feels good for the time. And then I was entering into the second half, and I was like, I hate this game. This game sucks. And then I was like, is this really good for the time? And then I looked up the games that came out in 2005, and I was like, okay, fine, yeah, it was. Like, all the other games were not hitting in 2005. So I got to the very end, and I'm like, I could give that like a 7 out of 10, I think.
Okay.
Like, pretty good. Lots of memorable moments. I would be willing to play it again.
Yeah.
Everything that comes out of everyone's mouth is so dumb. I know it's kind of supposed to be that way. It's kind of supposed to be campy and silly, but there's just times where I was like, are you fucking with me right now?
Yeah. I think the first Resident Evil is probably the biggest offender of that, but I love it so much. Like, just some of the shit they say is so goofy. It's almost like comforting. Go ahead.
I am determined to go and play the other Resident Evils after that. I was like, you know what? I gotta dive in and see what this whole series has to offer. Like,
can I make a suggestion? You should play one from each era of Resident Evil. The first 3 had their own era, the next 3 had their own era, and then the third one in this trilogy, so to speak, hasn't come out yet, Resident Evil 9, but 7 and 8, they've kind of got their own era too. And so the first 3 games, like, you know, the fixed camera up in the top corner, very focused on making you feel, you know, defenseless and weak, because, like, I'm playing the first one, and in the 4 through 6, like, you don't have to question whether you're gonna kill a zombie or not.
Right, you're gonna kill them.
You're gonna kill them, and it's gonna be fine because you're gonna find more ammo. That is not the case in the first game at all. Like, if you can dodge them, please dodge them. And it just, like, and also the fact that your saves are limited, which might drive some people insane these days, but, like, I love the weight that it has. Like, I don't have the ammo to kill this guy, and I don't have any ink rolls to save, so I'm just gonna swerve him to the best of my ability because I do not want to go back that far. Like, I gotta find an ink roll, and it adds to what I feel like is real horror versus a jump scare kind of stuff like that. So yeah, if you could play any of the original first ones, I mean, Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes are fantastic, but, you know, I'm a bit of a supremacist when it comes to the classics. Yeah. I think you should play at least one of those, and then maybe play the remake if you want to afterwards. And then I think you should definitely try either 7 or 8. Like, those games are both great.
Is 7 Biohazard?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen playthroughs of Biohazard. I've not played it myself, but...
Okay, nice. Yeah, and 4 through 6, those are like the action-y ones. 4, not super action-y, but 5 and 6 are just, you're playing Call of Duty.
Interesting. Just gunning things down.
Yeah. Like Call of Duty with, you know, except sometimes the enemy's heads explode and there's a giant worm that comes out of them, but outside of that, it's Call of Duty. Yeah.
So, I'm curious, how do you organize your ideas?
The moment I get them, I jot them down. I've got this right here. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I keep them all scattered right here, like just random ideas. I've got videos in here that have already been made, some that have not. This is Lego Star Wars. And then I will bring it to an outline where I've got all the scattered ideas, bring it to an outline and narrow it down to... I feel like that's when the real learning happens, when you've got all these scattered notes and now you have to organize them into the outline for a script. And then after I get to a point where I'm happy with the outline and I'm ready to write a script, then I just go from there. But right now I've got like 7 outlines ready. I haven't started any of the scripts.
For you to start knocking them out when you get the time.
And it's also because I got super excited about from this break. When I come back, I'm not going to be making the same kind of content I've been making, and so this new format that I'm going to do has got me really excited. I'm like, oh my god, I can talk about this. Like, I feel like I've opened up a world of possibilities, and so that's why I've got 7 outlines ready right now, because I want to turn each of those into scripts that all kind of have a similar vibe. I feel like so far one of the bigger problems with my channel has been like, not everyone who wants to watch a Kirby video is going to want to watch a Spider-Man video. Not everyone who wants to watch a Spider-Man video is going to watch a Borderlands video.
Right.
No one's like eager to click on the next thing from me. So, I don't really get people to stick around. But this new content is going to, at least I hope, is going to have similar vibes and is going to want to pull people to, get interested in the next video and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I'm excited about that. That's why I've got so many outlines ready. But I don't know. I've been a little nervous to start a script. Yeah. How about you? How do you organize your thoughts?
I have it right here in front of me. I can show you. I've got this multi-page folio that says video ideas.
Yo.
And I've got
holy crap.
Just random concepts over here. I have people I've been thinking about interviewing and some script concepts.
This is awesome.
These are bullet points for you. And then behind this is like past interviews that I've already finished.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and then I have video concepts. I rarely am script writing. I've only really written scripts for a couple of videos, so almost all the papers are just like bullet points. They're just the ideas, and then I am gonna have to write some scripts for some upcoming videos, but I've got my bullet points all down for them and everything like that, and I've tried to use this as much as possible, because if I don't, I have paper everywhere, and I gotta keep it concentrated in one place and like reorganizable, because
that's actually way cool. I love that. I gotta try that. I like my little pocket notebook. The reason why I got this was because I got it when I was working at the bakery, and so like it was just a little thing I could keep in my chef coat pocket.
Absolutely.
And I could pull it out at any time. Yeah, when I was working at the bakery, like the way I would keep myself entertained was I could think about ideas all day. And so I've got probably like 3 of these filled up. Yeah. And but now editing, like I have to be very involved with the work I'm doing, since I'm making creative choices and stuff like that. So don't have too much of a necessity for one of these. I might have to transition over to the file style, bro. I like that.
I've enjoyed the file, because for me, when I get an idea and I want to write it down, no paper near me is safe. So whatever paper is nearby, it's getting the idea on it, and then I can just hole punch that and stick it in the file, and then reorganize it and pull them out. And if I've got multiple things on the docket, then I can sift those out and stuff like that. Yeah. So I need something to try and organize whatever's happening.
Yeah, I get that. Dang. Nice. I like that.
Now I need to open it back up, so I got our bullet points up.
What's next on the bullet point? What do you got?
I got, do you have a piece of media that is currently inspiring you? Be that song, movie, TV show, video game?
I think yes. Anytime I'm watching an anime, I've got something. Like, I usually don't. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Every time I get one thought, I'm like, well, this needs to be explained first. Wait, now this needs to be explained first. I don't really like bare bones story stuff, at least at this stage of my life. Like, I feel like I'm robbing myself when I'm not getting the whole cinematic storytelling vibe, Like, if it's, I can't read. I mean, I physically can, but I choose not to. Same thing with manga. Like, manga is a little bit closer for me, because I can at least look at the pictures as I'm reading the story, but it's a no for me.
Because I can't read.
Because I can't read. And so anything that's not like a full cinematic thing, I feel like I'm robbing myself, because I like to study the frames that they choose, the framing that they choose, and I like to study the light that they choose and the way they went about certain jokes or the way they animated this or how they did their slapstick. And so yeah, lately just I've been watching whatever. Like I noticed that rom-coms surprisingly like really love to go over, at least the ones I watch like to go over the top with their animation. You would think that it's like shonen stuff, but I mean, I just personally love rom-coms anyways. So like, I don't know if you've ever seen Kaguya.
Oh no.
Love is War. Dude, this show is so good. Like
Love is War. I've actually heard good things about Love is War.
It is fantastic. You should watch it. It's great. Anyways, yeah, that show, like just every time I watch it, like they're doing something that's just like beautiful animation. I'm like, oh my god, I want to make some more. I want to make videos, but I can't because I'm watching anime. But and so Kaguya, I've been watching Komi-san Can't Communicate, which has beautiful animation in it too. Recently I rewatched Wall-E with my girlfriend, which is
Wall-E's
like
great.
Wall-E is fantastic.
So good.
It is a masterclass in visual storytelling. I love it.
It took me a couple of watches. The first time I watched it, I was like, eh. Yeah. And then the third time I saw it, I was like, this is one of the best movies. Just like ever.
Yeah, like the visual storytelling and the slapstick is so good in Wall-E. I love it. So that's inspired me lately. And then just like I've been playing a lot of PS1 games. I love the PS1 aesthetic, and that's what I want to bring to my videos. So any media I'm consuming, it's serving some kind of purpose, and usually that purpose is inspiring me. So yeah. How about you? Do you have anything that's big inspiration?
You know, I feel similar where it's like anytime I'm ingesting something, I'm assessing it, and I'm thinking about how they did it and what it would be like to emulate it. And something that's funny about me is I kind of get a lot of inspiration from really bad stuff.
Okay.
Like, so I'm really into like bad old like sci-fis and stuff like that, like from the 60s and 70s, and just like terrible movies or something like that. I really get I watch it and I'm like, I could make this. I could easily make this.
Like this was a movie. They played this in theaters. Come on, I could do better.
I could make something like this. Like
I love that.
We've been watching Spy X Family. Of course, the new season is going to be coming back, so we've been rewatching through it.
Nice.
And I love that show. I think something about like anime in specific or cinema a lot of times is that it's very honest, earnest, and heartfelt, and that's extremely inspiring to me. Sometimes I'll look back on my videos and I'm like, I like them. They're kind of quirky and funny-ish, but like there's not necessarily like I don't feel like I watch it and it evokes a lot. You know, it doesn't make you feel a lot. That's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, is like how do you make stuff that makes people feel without necessarily like being melodramatic or taking yourself too seriously, you know? That's something I feel I do too much already in my personal life, and I don't want to be that guy who's just like, I am serious all the time.
I have to fight that because I do like when I get heated about whatever thing I'm arguing, which is, it's weird because like when I got like certain ideas that I want to argue, I'll get heated about arguing them, but then every time I make a video about it, I'm like regretting it later because I'm like, I don't feel that passionately about it. So I've learned recently that argumentative stuff is not my forte. Like that's not the kind of content I want to make, which is why I'm going to be shifting focus to more informational style content. And when you asked it, I actually remembered, like, aside from anime and games I've been watching, games I've been playing, there's this YouTuber called Ahoy. Have you heard of him?
No.
He makes like such good content. He's got like, it's like I watch his stuff and I'm like this is why like I feel like I should be making content, because he'll make a video called like explosive barrels, and it's just that he puts a period after each of the titles too, just explosive barrels. And it's literally just the history of them, where they came from in real life, how they popped up in the cinematic universe, how that translated to games, and all the different instances we've had of them. What was the earliest calling of an explosive barrel in a video game and stuff like that. And it's a 22-minute long video, just all about explosive barrels, just informing you about it. And he makes it so good. Yeah, he also, like, another thing is, like, I don't give a crap about guns. Like, that kind of stuff has always bored me. But his content is primarily, like, that style of video is guns. Like, he'll do one on, like, he'll do one on the P90. He'll do one on the, a Glock. He'll do one on a bow and arrow, like, even not straight up guns and stuff like that. And he'll talk about its real world application, where it came from in, like, wars and stuff like that. And then how it made its way into media, and then how it made its way into games. And it's just full info dump of, like, guns. And I don't give a shit about guns. Sorry
but
for
the
swearing.
History of, like, how they translate into media is kind of an interesting, like, thing to break down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've been in love with that content lately, and it made me realize that, like, my whole life I've kind of already loved informational stuff. Like, like, some people, when I explain stuff to them or teach them things, they think that I'm, like, being cocky or I'm looking down on them or something. But it's genuinely, I just love teaching or sharing info, and I love receiving the info and stuff like that. And so to make my own content where it's like I'm doing, like, short burst informational stuff, but it's got my goofy, nature to it, it's kind of like, it's been feeling like it's my calling. That's what the new style is going to be. Probably like 8 minutes, 9 minutes long at most, at least like 5 minutes of just, like, random video game concepts, where they came from, how they started, how they work in games and stuff like that. Just informing the viewer in a goofy way. It's like, it feels like it's my calling lately. So
that's why you've got so many drafts or so many outlines right now. Is you've thought of a lot of different, like, lessons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just so many different. Like, I've got one that's going to be on pet companions, one that's going to be on kart racers, one that's going to be just on swearing. I want to figure out when the first time a game swore was. One on, like, mature Nintendo content, the stuff that you don't really see on Nintendo consoles, but it's out there. Like, there's some crazy mature Nintendo exclusive games I can't wait to talk about. And so, yeah, I'm shifting focus kind of to that direction, which I feel like isn't too far removed from what I've been doing. It's just more focused, Right, a little bit more directed. Yeah, and I think that when one person clicks on the mature content video, they would know the vibe and be like, ooh, now I want to hear about swearing. Or like, ooh, now I want to hear about horror. Like, whatever I'm talking about. And so, yeah.
So you've got, like, all these outlines, and you write a script.
Yeah.
You're doing lots of writing. I mean, you're writing lots of, like, scripts for videos. Did you consider yourself a writer much before YouTube?
No, not at all. I didn't consider myself a writer. I didn't consider myself a sound designer or even an animator. Like, all these things that go into video production for YouTube, like, they just kind of happened upon me. And it's not till, like, in recent times I'm thinking about, I'm like, wait a minute, I write. Like, I do the full studying process and the script writing process and the fact checking. Like, I'm a writer in a sense. But then I'll have someone like Sauce come along and give me a reality check. I had him look at my latest
eviscerate your script.
Yeah, he's really good at it. He's very, like, passionate about being able to logically correct a script and stuff like that. And he's like, this sounded good, but it didn't feel like you deserved it. You need to talk more about this. And so he's showing me how bad of a writer I am, which at first was a hard pill to swallow, but because I'm just so, like, cocky about my shit, I guess. I'm just like, yeah, I can freaking draw. I can write. And then he reminds me that I can't. But
you're like, oh, people love my videos. What are you saying that I should? Yeah. And then you're like, oh, well, there is room for improvement. Like,
yeah, definitely. And it's excited me because I want to share more scripts with him now. Just have them eviscerate them and teach me what's right from wrong.
And you need that person to look at it and just mark red ink all over it. Even if you ignore some of that red ink, you just need that person to go through and chop your thing to bits. Like,
yeah. And I've heard. How do you feel about it? Like, I've heard that some people would say, "Well, then you're taking away your voice." You know, if YouTube being about you, and you have someone else look over it and tell you how to structure things, is that messing with your voice or changing anything?
For certain. But what I would say is that we don't come with our voice innate in us. We learn it from people around us. And
right, yeah.
Like that's a big aspect of voice, but also I always say when I'm editing something for someone and I hand it to them, I say, you feel free to ignore anything, because at the end of the day, it's you saying it. And some of the things that I may have edited may have just been like a restructuring of the sentence. And to you, that structure doesn't make sense to say. So don't say it. Say it the way that you originally wanted. But I'm gonna eviscerate it as I would, and then you pick up the pieces and say it in the way that you're going to. So yeah, I'm like censoring a little bit or changing the method that you're gonna say something, but it's your thought, and you end up choosing what you're gonna say, and then you learn. You learn those things, and you carry it into your next speech. So when you go to write, you write it slightly differently, and that's you saying it. It's not them saying it. So I think a big thing is like there's a lot of merit. This is a multifaceted thing, but there's a lot of merit on YouTube of the you, and you do it, and there's not a lot of like we do it. We as a community of creators do it. There's less of that general acceptance. I feel like some people are like, when you're small, you got to do it all by yourself, and you got to grind it out. And it's like, if you've got the asset of people who care about your content and are willing to edit it and have a good eye for that, use it. Like, make your stuff better by honing it on other people around you.
Yeah, and some people can really help you bring out your voice. Aside from, taking inspiration is one thing. Like, you can look at how people are doing things better than you. Sometimes you have to spend time sounding like other people before you find your own voice. And even then, once you do have it, there are, like you were saying, there's going to be people who help you bring it out, because you're saying something and you feel like you're saying it the way you think about it. Like, you're like, yeah, this is how I'd receive it. But other people aren't going to receive it that way.
Exactly.
They're going to hear not exactly what you're trying to say. And so helping someone filter out those ideas and be like, this is what you mean, right? Maybe you should phrase it like this to get your point across better. That could definitely help. And then, from there, like, if there is ever a time where it's like, no, you're changing what I'm trying to say, then ignore it. Whatever.
Right.
Like,
absolutely. You feel free to ignore the edits. It's you're not having someone else write the script for you. Like,
exactly.
That's not what's happening. It's just an edit. In the same way that when you edit somebody's video, it's not your video. Like, it is, you helped work on it. You're a member of the team for the video, but it's being posted to the other person's channel. They're gonna get most of the attribution for it.
As an editor, like, your job is to bring out their personality.
Yeah.
So it's definitely their content, because I don't want to do Let's Play content, but that's all I've been editing is Let's Play challenge content. And so that doesn't feel like it's my voice. I don't take any pride over the videos. Maybe it's like specific edits that I'm proud of and stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, like, it's their video. And sometimes I'll think about it. I'm like, all these, like, there's tens of thousands of people who are watching video I made. And like, I'll think about it, I'm like, that is pretty cool. But then I'm like, yeah, but it's not my vision. It's their vision. It's their video. I'm going through their moderation. So yeah, until
cool, but
it's still cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna feel that like extreme sense of pride and joy until my video essay or short form documentary stuff takes off. Then I'll feel
right when it's excited. Really got your name stamped on it. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's got my whole vibe to it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Do you have any questions before we wrap up? I got one last one.
I had a question earlier. I'm gonna let you ask yours. It might come back to me.
All right. Do you have any music recommendations?
Music recommendations. Oh, we were talking about music a while ago. Let's see. Lately, I haven't been going into too weird of stuff like Macro Blank and stuff like that.
Shout out Macro Blank.
Macro Blank, like all this stuff that he does. I guess that specifically he's like positing other people's music, but it's got he still like puts his own twist on it, and I really like it. And it's along those lines. There's I don't know if it's the name of the album or the name of the artist, but Pizza Hotline.
Pizza Hotline.
Well, yeah, and it's it's like specifically it's PS1 aesthetic tunes. I don't know if they compiled them or if they made them originally or what, but it's like an hour-long video on YouTube, Pizza Hotline, and it's freaking good. It's so good. Like, it's every time I put it on, like I want to go back into Blender and continue working on whatever I'm working on, you know?
Just dive back in.
Yeah. And now I can't think of my question, so
well, I'll give you my music recommendation. We'll see if it jogs your memory. I would recommend you Ginger Root.
Ginger Root. Okay.
Yeah. I've been listening to lots of Ginger Root, and Ginger Root makes a lot of music videos that have like an 80s aesthetic to them. It's almost like he as a performer is stuck in the 80s right now or something like that. And it all has this like very fuzzy 80s pop aesthetic to it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've got it. This looks awesome. Ooh, yeah. I was going to ask earlier, actually.
There you go.
You have a vision for your content. Like in the future, is there a certain kind of content that you're just dying to make? Or a certain series maybe that you're dying to start up?
A certain series that I'm dying to start up. Hold on, let me look at my organizational binder, see what I got. Let's here. Go. Yeah. Cuz I've got plenty on the docket, but I have quite a few like singular videos prepped right now. Not a lot of like recurring themes, but I've talked about this a couple of different times, but I'll talk about it a little bit more in depth for you. I've had a 24-hour stream, a New Year's stream planned.
Wow.
That I've been wanting to do. That's like partially pre-recorded and then partially live, and have it kind of be a varied experience over the 24 hours.
Okay, yeah.
So kind of like started off with a bang, and then kind of pull back a little bit, and then since we're going to be there over the course of all of it, have like some live things where we cook a meal together and maybe like release a menu beforehand. It's like, if you want to cook along, grab these things, and then we're going to cook at these times, and then there'll be some interactive things, then maybe some like things with content creators, and then some sketches and some various different things going on in there. But I've maybe done
might happen this New Year.
Oh God, if it does, that would be awesome. But I've done like 30% of the work required, and I think I need some hardware to make what I want happen, because I think with the plan, I think I would need to change some locations for live stream purposes, and I would need to figure out how to change the setup to a different setup while continuing the live stream. So there's some technical things that I need to work out, and I probably should start like working with people on it. Yeah. I'm very. This is something I've been really wanting to do for a while, but it's I've not done enough work to make it happen, I think, this year. I should keep working on it as if it's going to happen this year, but it's been an idea that's a long time in the making at this point, just to even like conceptualize the different portions of it.
Yeah. If you think it's gonna happen this year, you gotta let me know. That sounds.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'll try and let everybody know if it's gonna happen this year. But let's see. I've got less than 2 months, and I guess just over 2 months, and like 70% of it still to work on. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. We'll see how it goes. All right.